Hi guys, today we're going to be making an easy oval easel card. Hello and welcome to Debbie J's Crafting Corner. I'm Debbie and each week I show you how you can create awesome cards and other crafty projects. Because if I can make it, you can too. So if you'd like to see more tutorials and inspirational videos, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. Today's video is part of this month's Card Hoppin video series that's being organized by the Handmade Happiness Facebook group. In case you're interested in joining us, I've added a link to the group in the description below. This month's theme is creating something that is just too cute and using creative die cutting or dry embossing. So I decided I would try something a little bit different, and I decided to make this not round but oval card. Only problem is once I made it and then I tried to stand it up, it doesn't work, it falls over. So I decided, okay, well let's do something else then, and I decided to try making my first easel card. Now I have made easel sliders. You slide I'll leave a link up here. I don't recall exactly what I called them, but they're slider cars that also work as an easel, and those are really easy to make as well. This is the first time that I've tried doing an actual easel card, and I think it turned out really cute. This is using the Reverse Confetti mouse mail stamp set that I've had in my stash for quite a while and haven't gotten around to using it, and so this was a perfect opportunity because the mouse is just so darn cute. And so the card just stands up like that, and you can leave it just sitting on your desk as a reminder of who sent it to you. So I thought that this was really cute. So I'm going to make another one similar to this. I'm using a little bit different papers and that sort of thing, but I am still going to use that Reverse Confetti mouse. I'm going to use my Tim Holtz stamp platform for all of my stamping today. And I really like the way that this looked with the little, with the mailbox and the little girl just mailing a letter off to a friend. Let's see if I can get this up here so you guys can see it while we're working. So I'm going to do the same kind of thing. Okay, and I'm just going to ink these guys up with some Memento Tuxedo black ink because I'm going to use some alcohol markers from Spectrum Noir to color up these cuties. There we go. So I'm going to just do some real simple coloring with these, not anything really complicated. Start off with that mailbox, and I'm going to just use some of my TBs. So TB6, TB4, and TB2. So I'm going to bring in the TB6 for the shadows, the areas that I know that are going to need to be darker. So underneath the rims, along the edges to give it a little bit of dimension. I'm just flicking it very slightly in from the edge. Do the same thing across the bottom and along these edges here. Across the top, just a little bit coming in off of the sides to make it look a little curved. But I'm using my second color, the TB4, to pull out some of that color into the center just to give it that little bit of dimension and to blend out that harsh edge. And I just realized I did not do the flicking on this side of the mailbox, so I'll go back in and do that. Come back in with the TB4. Okay, and then I'm going going to try it with the TB2. Originally I did a test with the TB1, and the TB1 was just too darn light. So just bringing that lighter color in. And I am adding extra ink from this lightest marker over the darker areas to try to blend those out a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to come back in again with the TB4, and this time I'm going to try to pull it out just a bit more than I did the last time into the center. And then back with the TB2 to blend those out again. Okay, so our mailbox is done. So next, I think I'm going to make the little girl's dress blue also. So I'm going to go back in with the TB4 and TB2 colors. Just put a little bit of the TB2 on the, actually TB4 on the outer edge here. Give a little bit of shadow. And I'm going to put that on the stamp as well. And then just color the rest of her little dress. So she's got a little bit of a shadow on the edge. But because I don't want to get too much of the dark shade, I'm going to go ahead and put in the TN2 first. Go ahead and kind of get the base color down. Okay, and now I'm going to come in with the darkest to put in the shadows. And I'm not really putting in much, just a little bit. At the base of the ears, around the side of the head to give a little bit of shading, like what was with her little dress. And then do the same kind of thing with the little boy mouse. Then I'll come back in with the the RB1, and blend that out. So I'll go ahead and bring in the TN2 and start at basically around the edges of where that other color is, and try to just pull some of that out. Since I've got 3 images though, I am going to use my scan and cut, I think, to cut them out off camera. I do have some other videos showing how I've used the scan and cut to fussy cut some of my images, so you can always check one of those videos out if you're interested in that part. I'm going to bring in this real light pink, and that's going to go in the ears. Then I'm going to use this other shade of pink. This one was PP1, and this one is BP1, which is a brighter pink, and I'm just going to bring in a little of that to give the inside of the ears a little bit of dimension. And then I'll bring back in the PP1 to kind of blend those out just a touch. I'm going to use the IG1, which is one of my lighter gray markers, just to add a little bit of color to the edges of the white space papers. So next I'm going to go ahead and get this cut out on my scan and cut, and through the power of video. Okay, looks like I may not have hit the record button when I needed to, so I'm backing it up just a touch. Here are those cute little mice and the little phone, not phone box, mailbox. I am a Doctor Who fan, so that blue makes me think, of course, of the TARDIS, and so do apologize for that. If you guys are TARDIS or Doctor Who fans too, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, it looks like I had not hit the record button, so I need to do some recutting real quick, and besides, I will use the card base that I already made again on another card. So here we've got another piece of that 11 by 5.5 cardstock, and the reason I had a second one handy is because it was from one piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock that I cut in half vertically. So now I'm just going to go ahead and score that at 5 inches. I'm sorry, 5.5 inches. I did score it right, which is good. Fold that in half and burnish it down. Next, I'm going to turn this card base into an oval and use the standard standard satin, which I've been using, which is a Sizzix plate. Then my magic mat, cardstock, and the die, and then my Gemini plate. Now I did run this through one on the last one. It looks like I needed actually a little bit more pressure, so I'm going to use my metal shim to go along with it. And when I'm cutting this, I want to make sure that I have just a touch of the die hanging off the side, and that's going to create that hinge. And it is on the hinge side, so you need to make sure that it is on the folded side and not on the other side, because if you do it on the other side, you're just going to wind up with two pieces that don't quite match what you're wanting. Now, before I realized that my video had not been recording, I had already cut out this piece, so it's already ready to go. Now, to make this into an easel card, like I said, if we do this one as a regular card, this one would be a top folding card, and if you try to stand it up, it falls right over, and I don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to turn it into an easel card. And to do that, I'm going to grab my scoring tool one more time, my scoreboard one more time. I'm lining it up right with that edge there, so it'll be straight. You're going to want to score it about halfway. This card is about right at 5.5. It's actually a little bit less than 5.5 inches. So this time I'm going to be scoring it at about 2 3/4. Because that is half of 5.5. So go ahead and score that. What happens is when you fold it and score it, you're going to be able to have a card that sits up like this. This pattern paper is a little flimsy, so I'm going to use half of that card base that I made earlier. I'm going to use that to stabilize that instead of cutting out another oval. And then I don't really like this little piece here, so I'm going to just trim off kind of the little hairs that showed up on it this time. Okay, so I'm going to line it up here, and to adhere it, I'm going to put adhesive all on this piece here. And again, making sure I get close to those edges. Then I can just put this down right on top of my card and line it up. Mail, and then we've got a little stack of letters. And this time I'm going to stamp them out in VersaFine Onyx Black and then do some clear embossing on top. That way they will really, really pop. And since these are going to be just clear embossing and I'm using WOW, I didn't bother with using the embossing tool. It really wasn't needed. I mean, the embossing anti-static tools are really good for helping you to not get embossing powder where you don't need it. In this case, it's white. I mean, it's going to be clear, so you're not really going to see it if it goes anywhere else. Plus, wow, embossing powder tends to not stick everywhere else. They've got, don't know how they did it, but they somehow made it so that it is kind of anti-static in the jar, which is really cool. I'm going to cut out my little packages first. Go ahead and get that done real quick. And since these are all straight edges, they should be really easy to cut out. Okay, so I changed my mind as usual as to how I wanted to cut out these little banners. Was planning initially to just use my my bypass trimmer from Fiskars, but instead I decided to use these cute little banner dies from Lawn Fawn. So I'm just going to go ahead and line that up as to about where I think I want the tail to be, because I did go ahead and I did stamp it closer to this edge. I'm going to use some washi tape to hold that down while it goes through the machine. So I'll go ahead and adhere those down. Putting the Happy Mail first because it's going to be the lowest. Kind of set it right down at the bottom. But I'm debating whether or not I want it to be lined up on the edge there. Now I'll go ahead and have it centered, I think. That will be good enough. So now when it's opened, got all of that on the front, and then when it's opened it would be basically popped up like this. So now we need a little stopper to go down at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to be stamping these in VersaFine Onyx Black ink, so I'll go ahead and tap some ink on there and stamp that down. And that looks really good. So go ahead and sprinkle that on. Now that we've got that done, all we need is a little bit of foam tape, and we can adhere this to be this stopper. So now we've got our little stopper, and I'm going to place this right about there. So I'm going to go ahead and get that adhesive the release paper off, and this release paper is coming off so super easy. So now we've got our cute little card all finished, and it has that little stopper there so you can sit that up on your desk, and I think that just turned out so cute. And that finishes up my first ever easel card. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel so that you'll know every time I upload a new video. And I would love to see what you create, so come join my Facebook group, Crafting with Debbie, and the Handmade Happiness Facebook group and show us your creations. I've left links to each in the description down below. Be sure to check out all the other videos in the Hop because I know they will have a lot of inspirational projects for you to see. Here are a couple more videos that I know you'll enjoy. Thanks for watching, and remember, if I can make it, you can too. See you next time.